right, it's the 9th of the month of April. The year is 2024. I know those people who are waiting for 80-day celebrations, the day is not actually today. It will be tomorrow. Really, that is after the confirmation of the moon didn't go on well for them. But I must say, nonetheless, we are already in here for the Kokoliriko live show, the Tuesday edition of this week. And we are going to be doing this with you up the hour of 9 a.m. And my name is FARISH Majid. And remember, later on in the second hour, we shall be joined by MATUA ALFRED OTOKIRA, the Community Liason Officer, that is for Central Division. And he will be giving us the report that is of police for this month and for last month, and also really for this week. And really, you realize that a lot of issues are really happening that is within the police. And really, he will be later on here joining us and also really to give us more into that. And we are waiting to have him on the show. And really, you will be able to sort of later on to share your ideas and opinions on what you think police needs to do in terms of also really bringing down the crime rate that is within the central region. But really, from wherever you are watching us from right now, it's a great pleasure having you on board. And really, you are most welcome to the show. And we are going to be doing this with you up the hour of 9 a.m. And really, that is also where you should be also free to share your ideas, share your opinions, and what you think really needs to be done on the show, so that we also really transform the society. Because as West Nile Television, our #1 goal remains, that is to really enlighten the region. And one way we are going to be enlightening the region is actually working together with you, and really through also really talking about issues that happen and really affect the West Nile sub-region and the country at large, because our discussions are not limited only to West Nile sub-region, but also really we do also the national issues. We do also really what is happening internationally and really elsewhere in the world. That is the beauty of the show. And really, to begin off the discussions right from West Nile sub-region, yesterday we did have a meeting that is of the religious leaders, also really together with the Directorate of Ethics and Integrity, and also the Directorate really was represented by the PS. And really, this meeting did go on. That was at Heritage Park in ARUA City, where it attracted a number of religious leaders also really to share their ideas of on the new policy that is going to streamline the operations of the religious institutions. And many of them actually shared their opinions on what needs to be done and what really needs not to be done under this new policy that is under review before it being passed also really there. It is a policy, it's not a law, but really it is also really going to streamline the operations of these religious leaders. And today you realize that a lot of issues are happening within the religious institutions, where if I disagree today with my colleague, I rush to open up my new church. And really where we're also seeing, if I disagree with maybe this faction, today we see you crossing over to the other faction, and you start blackmailing the other faction, where you have been saying they're saying that they are corrupt, they are bad people, they are this and that, and yet you have your own selfish interest. And today also really that law, maybe that policy is going to be addressing such issues. And really where also really we have seen bad issues also really happening within the religious sector. If you really remember the instances of Bukichiboetere that happened in the year 2001, yes, you realize that a lot of issues really happened, where religious leaders also really did also really do a lot of havoc, where people lost their lives after the religious leaders also really said they are really going to heaven. And this actually happened in a church where they were burned to death. And really, this is really something I must say is very, very sad. And really, if it happens within the religious institutions, then that is quite really ironic and also really quite saddening. And that is why this policy is very, very much important. And not only that, if it really also really happened, if you really remember what happened during the Lakwena time, after he really also after really came out that he really is going to give them ammunition, where this if they really smear themselves, that is with the shea nut oil, they will not also really die, and they are going to become bulletproof, which was really a total lie. But all this also really have led to lives being lost. And that is why it is very, very much important for us to be talking about maybe the streamlining of the religious institutions that need also really to be observed. Because really, if at all we leave them to work like that, then definitely their operations are also really going to cost, that is the masses whom they are really serving. And yet the religious leaders also really have a great role, that is in terms of working with the government, also really in bringing also really success and development in the society. Because today the religious leaders, you realize that they do a lot of things, and so many people actually listen to the religious leaders more than any other leader. That is why it is very, very much important, first of all, for these religious leaders to self-voluntarily also really safeguard the operations, and such that at the end of the day also really there is nobody to also really say, here, look, here you're supposed to be doing this, yet they could actually do self-regulation and really also see to it that they know that this is really not acceptable within the law, this is also really rejected by the law, such that at the end of the day we also really see what is happening, also really being maybe right there, and at the end of the day, we will want to also see the religious institutions also really supporting government, and really that is why it is very, very much important for this law, also really maybe this policy to be developed. I don't know what you think about the policy, and what you also really think maybe the religious institutions need to do such that we do not also really have these tendencies. You can really drop your comments in there and share with us. But really, as we move away from that, really you realize that a lot of issues are happening that is within the country, and really that is why it is very, very much important. Really, before we get to that, let's first also really have this where 8 band members were arrested for insulting the president, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, at Mbabazi's wedding anniversary. This is something that really did go on, where at least 8 members of the Crane Performers Group are in police custody for allegedly insulting President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni at his latter while delivering his speech, while this was at the 50th marriage anniversary of the then Prime Minister Mama Mbabazi. Really, this is also really something we did see happening. The Mbabazi celebrated 50 years of the marriage with, that is to Jacqueline Mbabazi, on Saturday. That was at Kampala Serena Hotel, and really this is something also we did see these people being arrested. But don't we have freedom of expression now? But I must also really say people need not to use the freedom of speech very, very much. Unfortunately, there that is where we did not also really use it, because we may be talking about freedom of expression, freedom of also really speech, but I must say it is not definite, because really, if at all you also really do such things, because you're undermining the credibility of the president, and he is really somebody whom we all honor, because he's the fountain of honor. And really this statement really didn't go on with the president, and really this was actually taken to be an insult after they made a reckless statement that the president's speech at the marriage anniversary was too long. But really this is something I must say did also really go on there. As Museveni was addressing Mbabazi's guest, that was at around 11 p.m. 8 Crane performers allegedly insulted him in Runyankole for over-speaking, and the words in Runyankole, according to security sources, were loosely translated as really as over-speaker. We are tired, leave the microphone. Senior security sources said the voices shocked many people, and they turned to see the people who were insulting the president. And really, as Museveni was wondering who were insulting the people, that is the president, as everyone was insulting, which people were insulting the president, Lieutenant Tony Kumakech, a Special Forces Command member, said he had seen the Crane performers abusing, that is the fountain of honor. Really, this is something else we did see there, and I must say this is quite sad. Really, can't you wait, because the president really is somebody whom you're not going to say, look, use this time of ours. He is the fountain of honor. He is the president. He is actually one person who has fought for that, maybe that peace that we are talking about today. And really that is why I must say it is quite sad, as much as we do have that is freedom of speech, but we need to also really mind of what we have to say, because at the end of the day, what we are to say may also land us in prison, and may land also us in jail, just like how these people have landed themselves into police custody. And really I want to say people need to mind of their words. Really, at all, if at all you are not very, very patient, walk away. Really, if you feel you're tired, you have the right to walk away. You have the guts also to move away, other than also you making those reckless utterances. And I believe this is now going to catch up with them, because at the end of the day, this is something I must say is not also really what we need to support. And other members of the Crane performers that were arrested and taken to Kampala Police Central Police Station include, that is Edward Tugume, who is 37 years old, David Muvunyi, who is 47, Walter Oleng, who is a 38 years old man, and Simon Bebwa, who is 27, and not forgetting Paul Roduli and Tony Okello, who were also really arrested in that scuffle there. And the case file on reference, that is CPS KLS CRB 614/2024, was opened. That was on Sunday, where charges of insulting the person of the president were preferred against the suspects. And really that is also really something we did see happening. That is right on Sunday. And Mr. Patrick Onyango, the Kampala Metropolitan Police spokesperson, said he was not briefed about anything related to insulting the president. And really, however, he said that the Directorate of Forensic Science and really was invited to profile and fingerprint the suspects at CPS on the same matter. And really this is something also we did see. However, sources say the directive has been given by one of the SFC officers to ensure that the suspects are not taken to court, but should be released on police bond. And that is something also really we did see happening in there. And I must say that is something also really we must also ensure that we warn ourselves of. If you really feel that the president is making a lengthy speech and you're tired, and really this could be as a result of that, these people wanted to perform and leave. Really, you you can take the walk, maybe leave the money and walk, because I do understand that you're not going to perform here for free of charge, other than also really maybe making reckless utterances that could also really land you in jail. And I believe the president, maybe as a person of that honor, maybe a person of integrity, he may also really maybe forgive these people, because we have known him for that. Maybe he could have forgiven these people, but really I must say this should also really serve as a warning to the rest of the members of the public, that we also really need to also really mind of our talks once we're in public places, because you do not know maybe who is behind you, because you may be whispering, but I must tell you today, maybe making such statements could land you in jail, because you do not know maybe the people who are sitting with you. That is why it is very, very much important for people to also really mind of what they are to say in public. And moving away from that, Gulu police recover stolen gun and ammunition is also really another story that we are seeing on the papers this morning. And really I must say today, where we are having a lot of issues of gun misuse happening in the country, this is really very, very much terrible, and to recover such guns is always important, so that we also really avoid tendencies of these murders that continue to happen in the country, and where we also really continue to register cases of people being killed in this, maybe in these gun-related instances. And I must say, to recover these guns is really quite good. And Morgan Rubankene, who was on Friday found in possession of a gun and really an ammunition and an army jacket during a raid by police operatives after a businessman reported police accusing him and others of attempting to rob her. And this is something also we did see happening, and really it is alleged that Rubankene, a resident that is of Patuda village in Omoro district, had clad himself in an army jacket together with others are still at large, went to the home of that is a victim of Laibi, that is a victim at Laibi in Peche Laro division in Gulu City, and demanded for shillings, that is 20 million. And really a police detective at Gulu City East police station, who requested to remain anonymous, said he is not allowed to speak, that is the media, on behalf of maybe the police, and said that they are not now hunting for the two other accomplices of Rubankene who are still at large. And really this is something also we did see, and where the incident happened at the home, the suspects demanded cash while threatening to harm her if she failed, that is to meet the demands they were requesting. And this is something I must say is really quite unfortunate. And an interview that is with Mr. David Ongomudong, the Aswa West River region, that is police spokesperson, said the victim later reported the matter to police, and the file has already been opened, that is under file CRB 136/2024, leading to the arrest of the suspects. And really that is something also really where we did see this happening. And also really I must say, people need to also really be vigilant, and this is what we are always calling upon people to do. If you really feel somebody is also really maybe are doing unscrupulous business, you need to report to police, so that police can also really carry out its investigations. And while the victim exhibited that courage not to yield the demands of the robbers, Mr. Ngom cautioned business proprietors to desist from that is exposing and moving with bulky cash to avoid these soft targets to the criminals. And really I also want to question my voice on the same. And I want to say people need to also really ensure that once they're moving, maybe these business people who have huge amounts of money, we need to ensure that we also really desist from tendencies of moving with huge amounts of money, such that also really at the end of the day we are not harmed by this maybe unscrupulous people. Because really if we cannot move with the money, which is really quite huge, trust me, these people may also really want to take advantage of these monies that we are talking about, and these robbers may also really come and want to take advantage of really maybe robbing you easily there. But really if you are told you have to move with this hard cash, maybe which is huge, you need to also request, that is for police or security agencies, to also really transport you, so that we also really avoid these tendencies of being robbed. Because today you realize a lot of these maybe robberies that happen in the country are also really as a result of this people also really maybe identifying you as maybe a potential victim. That is how they also really lay their traps in terms of also really making you fall victim in there, such that at the end of the day we also really continue to witness these tendencies of being robbed, and robberies also really continue to happen in the country. Each and every day we are reporting cases of these robberies, and that also really calls for now concerted efforts where we need to work together. And just like how our colleague in Gulu has done, this issues also really could be happening maybe elsewhere. If I really identify the suspects, you need to report to police, such that also the police and the security or other security operatives can also really carry out the investigations, that is in terms of also really bringing down these criminal cases maybe who want to take advantage of the society. And really moving away from that, now let's head to Moyo, where farmers have been urged, that is to make good use of of the rains. And really, this is one thing I also want to say we need to take advantage of as the rains are really returning. That means we need to also really start preparing our farmlands, our gardens, that is for farming. And the farmers in Moyo district have been urged to make good use of the rains for better harvest. And this was made, this call was made by Honorable Asusi JB, the Secretary for Production and Finance of Moyo district. And really, this was also really during a visit to his office some day. And really, the farmers in the district have been idle and stranded last year due to last year's harvest due to prolonged dry spell and the district. But now some of the farmers are getting back to what they love to do best, that is also really receiving some of the rains. And now these people have been called upon also really to start maybe preparing their farm gardens, such that at the end of the day we also really tend to realize maybe good yields in there. And Honorable Asusi JB Sam, the Secretary for Production and Finance, Moyo district, really urged the farmers in the district to make good use of the rains by planting, that is, a variety of crops in the gardens that will also really improve on the economy of the district and appeal for the youth also really to engage in maybe farming. And today you realize a lot of youths are doing maybe unscrupulous business. Today we are also seeing them being very, very much involved in theft. And really I want to say maybe with the return of the rains, those who are moving maybe from the villages to the city to look for survival, and really where the survival also really may not be very, very soft for them, they need to go back maybe to the villages and start also really engaging in farming. And I must say there's a lot of money in farming, and anytime from now I may also really get that is involved in farming, because we have also realized that the economy entirely depends on farming, and really farming business is where there's no loss once you make good yields, because at the end of the day with the increasing population people need to eat, and that is why people also really need to engage that is in farming. And really farming, I believe, is the way to go, so that also really people get to also realize maybe the monies that they want. And Mr. Toma Mangweni Zozimo, the Senior Agriculture Officer for Moyo, said according to reports that is from the Meteorological Department, the rains are fully back, and therefore appeal to the farmers also really to start planting crops, and those who are yet to start cultivating their lands need to use that is the fastest means as possible so as to catch up with the rains if they are to really realize better yields. And this is also really where I want to say people also need to also realize that maybe the best means of cultivating the lands, for instance, the use of the tractors, which are really there right at the sub-county levels, right at the district headquarters. You need to rush out and borrow these tractors. And remember, recently Moyo also did receive these tractors. Maybe also they could also, if they are told the tractors are not there, they can also really maybe go and borrow from the neighboring Ajuman district also, which will receive the tractors. And I believe that is also really something that is going to also really make maybe them also really do proper harvest at the end of the day, also maybe to also plant their crops timely. And I believe this is what they need to do. And I want to call upon each and everybody now out there to engage in farming, and really where we are seeing vast land just remaining idle like that. That is really quite unfortunate, because today maybe in the areas of Moyo, the areas of Bongi, the areas of Ajuman, these are fertile grounds. There's a farmer who is in Bongi who is also really planting watermelons, and this is something that was not done on large scale in this area. But trust me, today this farmer who came from somewhere is now making good advantage of that land. That means that really our people also really need to start engaging in the same activities, so that we also really realize the money that we want to see, because we could be talking maybe to people of Moyo, but then the people of Ajumani, the people of Bongi and the neighboring areas are not doing the same. And that really tells us that we need to start going back to the drawing boards, that is engaging in agriculture. These issues of sitting in the trading centers, really we need to also really desist from it, really where we are seeing the rains returning. The farmlands are still there. Let's engage that is in full production, so that at the end of the day also we realize what we want to see, that is for the better harvest. And this is one thing I also really want to call upon people now to also ensure that they engage in. And Mr. Angwe Joseph, the Assistant Agricultural Officer, that's for Metu and Otesab County, urged farmers to start planting crops now that the rains are fully back, saying any type of crop can be planted. Therefore, there is no need for farmers to be hesitant about the types of crops that they need to plant. And this is one thing I must also really call upon the farmers in that area to also really start maybe engaging in, such that at the end of the day, there is nobody that is left behind. And really for those who are fearing of what to plant, fearing that maybe the crops could take longer, I must say that is also really something that you need not to worry about, because at the end of the day, we have also realized that maybe at this time you can plant any crop. And according to reports from farmers in the district that have two planting seasons, which is between March to April, and also the August-September period, usually following the rain patterns in the district, since most of the farmers in the district rely on natural rains for practicing, that is agriculture. And it is from this background that the authorities are now alerting the farmers about the availability of the return of the rains so as to help them improve, that is, on their produce. And I really want to call upon now farmers in that area also to ensure that they do the same, such that at the end of the day, there is nobody who is left behind. And really, that is what brings us to the first break of the first hour. And really, you are most welcome to the show. In case you're just joining us right now, we bounce back shortly. This is Kokoliriko live on West Nile Television with me, FARISH MAJID, and you too also really can be part of the show. For now, we head in for a short commercial break as we bounce back shortly.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
AFCON, all 52 games live only on StarTimes. StarTimes brings you Africa's biggest football tournament, AFCON 2023 live in English and Luganda commentary. Starting January 13th, don't miss Mo Salah, Sadio Mane or Nana. Lead the hunt for gold as they take center stage. Renew your StarTimes subscription today and enjoy all 52 matches in HD live on Sports Premium and Sanyuka Prime. StarTimes, the official broadcaster of AFCON 2023. This message is powered by Techno, the official sponsor of AFCON 2023.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
right, welcome back from that short commercial break. This is still the Kokoliriko live show. In case you are just joining us right now, you're most welcome aboard. This is really West Nile Television, where we are here to enlighten the region, and really we are going to be doing that with you. And remember, you can also really participate on the show by really dropping your comments really from where you are watching us right now. For those of you watching us via YouTube, you can also really drop your comments in there, and I will be able to really maybe also reflect and share with the rest of the viewers on the screen, and really also really share your ideas. That is why it is very, very much important for you to really drop your comments there. For those of you watching us via Facebook, you too can also really drop your comments there, and really later on I will be able to really summarize the discussions with what is happening in the world of sports. But really, before we get to that, we are also really hoping to have, that is MATUA Alfred, that is a Community Liaison Officer for Central Division, who should be on his way to join us anytime from now. And really we are going to be doing the discussions related, that is the security operations and the police crime maybe update. And really realize that today a lot of issues are happening that's within the Central Division, and he will be here also really to let us know maybe what is happening. And before we did go for the break, we are also really, that is talking to people of Moyo sub-region, where they have been urged to also really take advantage of the rains, and that is with the return of the rains, to also really engage in agriculture. And today you realize that people are not also really taking advantage of the rains. The youth are really also not maybe getting actively engaged in agriculture, and that is one thing also really adults have been raising concerns over the years. And also really that is something that now I want to call upon each and everybody also really to start engaging in agriculture, maybe irrespective of the age. And that is how it is very, very much important. Maybe at the end of the day we would also realize maybe how we want to also really see ourselves maybe moving away from the poverty line that we're talking about. But now let's also really head that is to the neighbors, away from Moyo now to the neighbors, that is Germany. And really that is why it is very, very much important. And as still related to that is the rainy season, and with the return of the rains, as the rainy season is coming back, and most people have started planting and cultivating their lands, authorities in Juma district call upon the locals to take good care of the animals, as they are becoming a source of, that is, inconvenience in the town. And Taban Datapita, the resident district commissioner for Jumani, said animal owners should be also tie their animals, since animals arrested will be auctioned according to the law and really passed by, that is, the leaders in the various sub-counties. And today you realize that a lot of things are really happening where the animals are really left to move stray in the cities, even right in the city. That is also really something I must say why we need maybe bylaws or ordinances to be passed against such people who are really leaving their animals to move freely. And that is why it is very, very much unfortunate. Maybe let's first connect to Jumani and really see what is really happening and what the leaders there are saying, because the issues of stray animals remain a great challenge, not only to Jumani district, but most of the local governments in Western sub-region, not excluding the city, that is ARUA city, where we're also really seeing the same issues happening. Maybe let's first connect to Jumani and see what is happening in there as we come back shortly. Okay, as we wait to have that video, let's first continue and really see what is happening, that is in a Jumani district. But I must say that is something that is happening that ends where the animals really also need to be ensured that they are kept very safe, because today you realize that people who are really leaving their animals to move stray are doing a disservice to the people who are doing, that is, commercial agriculture, maybe those who are into farming. Really, that is one thing I must say also need to be addressed, because the issues of people leaving their animals to move stray remains a great challenge, not only even a Juan district, it could be happening elsewhere in Western sub-region. And this is something I must say I've witnessed happening in the city, where people have planted their crops suffer the most, because really today rather the animals which are left to move stray enter people's gardens and destroy the crops, which also puts the owners of these gardens at loss. And that is one thing I must say now people need to also really ensure that they need to also really maybe protect their animals from. You need to tie the animals, really also tie the animals maybe in one protected area is one these people need to do. But really once we see these animals, the cows, the goats moving freely, the sheep, that is one thing I must say is very, very much unfortunate. And this is going to put away so many people from engaging, that is in farming, maybe crop production. At the end of the day, that is also really something that we would not also want to see. Olea Pauline, the vice chairperson LC1, that is Marindi sub-county central village, that is the Marindi parish in Ajuman district, appeals to the owners of the cows and other animals to start, that is, keeping their animals, since they are used to supporting their families, paying also school fees and other necessities for their children through keeping animals. What about those who are engaging in agriculture? Really, that is also really one thing that we need to mind over. And meanwhile, the sub-county chairperson, that's of Paracha sub-county, Honorable Kanzo Kennedy, expressed that is anger to those animals which are still moving freely, adding that the practice should be stopped, that is during the dry season, but really not during the rainy season, because during the rainy season, we would also really want to see people engaging, that is in production of these animals. And during the dry season, most people in Ajuma district resort to, that is free grazing of their animals due to scarcity of pastures, but also with the return of the rains, we see these pastures also mushrooming. And really, we want to see now people also really desist from these tendencies of leaving the animals to move freely. But how can we do that? That means that we really have to unite hands in terms of also really addressing these concerns. At the end of the day, we want to see a society where people are really moving out, also really relating very well, such that we also really do not also really see conflicts emerging between the members of the public. And that is one thing also really I want to caution people now to ensure that they also really protect their animals from. Because if you really leave your animals to move stray, you are going to be doing a disservice, that is to maybe the people who are supposed to be also really maybe engaging in this these ventures. And really that is what does summarize our discussions to what is happening right from West Nile sub-region. Now let's move to what is happening at the country level, where in Kasese district, FDC members have rejected the new formation of a new political party, really as they call for, that is reconciliation. And really you realize that that is also really FDC led by Colonel Kiza Besje, as they are really doing their consultations, that is ahead of also really wanting to form a new political party. We have seen it in other areas people accepting this, but elsewhere people have also really rejected that. And among the people who have rejected the formation and the idea of that is to form a new political party by FDC is actually the Kasese group. And really what are maybe the other groups saying, as we are waiting to have maybe Kano Besje also really come to Arua? We also really want to see maybe what our leaders are going to be saying. Do they subscribe to the idea of forming a new political party, or they are saying we also need to put the differences aside? I believe we can still put the differences aside. Maybe if at all those disgruntled members, today you realize FDC has two factions, that is the Najana Nkumbi and Katonga, which are really led by top leaders. And if you really see what is happening in Najana Nkumbi, this is actually the group that is led by Patrick Amuriat Opoy and Nathan Nandala Mafabi. And the other group of also the Katonga, which also has the likes of Case Besje, the likes of Birigwa, the likes of Semojunganda, who are all subscribing, that is to the Katonga faction. But really, how is this going to impact, that is on FDC ahead of 2026, which is really some few months from now? And today you realize that this is going to really cost, that is the political party, because this is going to disintegrate the party furthermore. And this could also really see maybe the party falling apart more than how it did that in 2021, and I want to say this is what is going to be happening, because you realize that other parties are really restructuring. And really, if you see what is happening within the opposition group, I must say, maybe as somebody who sees what is happening there, this could be quite saddening to those who really subscribe to the ideas of these political parties. And the Forum for Democratic Change party members in Kasese have tasked the Katonga group faction also to spearhead reconciliation efforts, instead of opting to establish that is a new party. And that is something also really we did see happening there. And this was also during a consultative meeting convened by the Katonga faction at Equator Guest House in Kasese Town on Sunday. And Mr. Ronald Bwambale Kabuku, the chairperson of FDC in Kasese district, said there is need to first reconcile the differences to avoid negatively impacting the party's performance in 2026 general elections. And he said the party's leadership in Kasese held various meetings with their members from the grassroots levels up the district level, and recommended reconciliation between the Katonga and the Najana Nkumbi factions. And you also realize that the FDC in Kasese has been also really that party that has been maybe enjoying pride in that area, because you realize that during the time of the centenary, where we did also really see that area producing most of the leaders under Forum for Democratic Change. And then at one time we had Winnie Kiza also really as the leader of opposition in parliament, really very, very much strong in there. And really, if at all this was saying there's need for reconciliation as one of the areas that gave, that is maybe also really support to the party, I believe the party also needs to listen to what maybe the people in that area are saying, because I believe those people have also really bought the ideas and the ideology of the Forum for Democratic Change party, and really also the party to also really work together with them is the way to go. And I believe reconciliation is key in addressing these issues here. And Mr. John Siriwayo, a member of FDC and the resident of Kasese municipality, said the Katonga faction should prioritize that reconciliation first, and that is one thing I want to see maybe happening. And while acknowledging that the mistakes might be made by some party leaders, he argued that there is greater need for for unity rather than division. And really that's something I want to say also really needs to be done, because if at all the political party members also really cannot disagree amongst themselves, that is also really going to tour the party further. And Mr. John Siriwaya, member of FDC and resident in Kasese Municipality, said the Katonga faction should also really ensure that they work together with the Naja Nkumbi faction. And Mr. Waiswa Burigwa, the FDC chairperson for Katonga faction, explained the FDC council had outlined 5 areas that the members could pursue, including that is forming a new political party, joining an existing opposition party, and pursuing legal avenues to reclaim the party, and reconciliation with Naja Nkumbi faction, or forcefully ejecting the party headquarters. That is also really, that is something that we did also really see happening there. And Dr. Kiza Besije really also really recently also really did also really make some communication there. And Kiza Besije, the foreign president of the FDC, remarked that what you are seeing in the FDC today is exactly what Mr. Museveni wants. First, he makes, that is the people poor, and then later presents himself as their savior by giving them that is financial tokens, especially to the leaders. This is the same way he used to capture UPC, DP, and now FDC has fallen. That is prey to this trick, and that is what also really the former Forum for Democratic Change Party president, His Excellency, that is Dr. Kiza Besije, also did also really make that communication there. And the opposition steward, however, cautioned FDC supporters against being drawn into parties' internal disputes and the expense of the broader struggle that's for better leadership. He addressed the rumor that FDC intends to hand over FDC to another party. Also, really, that is something that we did see happening in there. And really, what do you think that needs to be done to avert this challenge that is happening within the Forum for Democratic Change Party? I believe you too can also share your opinions, share your ideas on what you think needs to be done. Also, really, that is through dropping your comments on the comment section. That is, for those of you watching us via Facebook, you can drop your comments there. For those of you watching us via maybe YouTube, you too can also really drop your comment there. And not forgetting those catching us via X. This is where we are also already saying that they are corporates. You too can also drop your comments there, and we shall be able to also really go through some of your comments in later on in the second hour of the show. But as we continue to go on with the show, that is also really something I need to remind you of. As we move away from that, there's also something that happened within the Noob camp. If I can really briefly also tell you maybe what is happening in there, I will also really not also exclude what is happening, that is to the National Platform Party. Also really, and state denies holding 11 Noob missing supporters. That is also something that we are seeing on the papers this morning. And relatives of some of the supporters of the NUP, that is also the national platform, provided hearsay testimony to the police investigations team, as most of them were not eyewitnesses to the alleged enforced disappearances, court has also been told. And in a sworn affidavit that is submitted to court on Monday, Ms. Rashida Naluze, a senior police officer, also the senior police personnel, contends that order sought to require the government to account for the 18 missing persons from Uganda was devoid on merit because they are not in their custody and released if they are not with the police. Now, where are they? Where are they? That is the question also we need to also really ask ourselves. Are they dead? If they are dead, where are they buried? That is also something that we also need to also really understand. Because at the end of the day, we expect answers. And where do we get the answers from? It is from police that also really we get these answers that we also really want to know. And according to Ms. Naluze, the next of kindreds of 11 Ugandans are really also already 18 out of 18 said to be missing, described as to the investigators. Stories also really of arrest as told by identification and uncertain third parties. Also really they do not know where these people are. And she further contends that the people who were allegedly arrested with some of the reported missing persons refused to make statements. And according to Musa Sali Kasasa, Minu Muairwe and Kim Sembajwe, who were allegedly arrested with Michael Jackson Semudu, declined to provide information to the police. And that is also something we are seeing on the past morning. And the named missing persons are part of the list that is submitted to the, in the case filed by John Bosco Chibalama and 29 others also really against the Attorney General, which the families allege that they were arrested and detained, that is by the security agencies, illegally. And it is alleged that the group have never been presented in any court of law, nor have they been charged with any lawful offense. And their relatives have also used the reasonable means of accessing to no avail. And that is also something we are seeing, and really if we at all police maybe is also to give us answers. Where do we want to see where these people are? That is also really maybe we want answers to also understand where exactly these people have been kept. so that we also really do not know, maybe are not left behind. And according to Ms. Nanuze, despite most of them alleged occurrences being reported to police really in a broad daylight, none of the alleged eyewitnesses mentioned the registration number plates of the alleged security vehicles involved or identify the security operatives. But really where we are seeing sometimes also really people using these numberless vehicles to also do those operations. How do you expect us to get the number plates of these vehicles, and maybe how do you expect us to also really identify where these people are? Because sometimes we see these people being abducted during daylight. But the question is, where do they go next? That is also really something we need to know, because the duty of the security agencies is to first of all protect the citizens, and then secondly also really to maybe explain to us if at all certain of this caliber or things of this caliber happen. It is through maybe the security agencies also to tell us where exactly maybe the gap is, and really what has really gone wrong, so that at the end of the day we also really are aware of what is happening. And I believe that is also really something that you two out there could be interested in. And Ms. Naluze is one of the state 5 witnesses who have submitted also really sworn statements objecting to the case regarding the 18 missing Ugandans who were allegedly also really being abducted there. And really this is something also really we did see these people being disappearing also really since that is the 2021 general election, and this is where most of them were actually said missing. And I believe that is also really something we did see in the general elections, and this was something we did see happening. And I believe that is also really something that we need to talk about, and really where somebody could be asking maybe which case this will fall under. Through their lawyers or PES advocates, the families of the missing persons are now seeking court declaration that the continued incommunicado detention of the 18 people by the state is unlawful, and that is constitutes a violation of their fundamental human rights enshrined that is in the 1995 Constitution as amended. And I believe there's more that needs to be done, because really if at all we continue to talk about these people who are still missing, then where are we going to wrong? Where is the country heading to? That is the question also really you two also out there need to ask yourself of, because if at all the 18 people are not also really known or maybe about their whereabouts, where they're kept, then where are they? That is the question we're asking ourselves this morning. And they are seeking an order that is of compensation for breach of their rights and payments of for general, well as also that's something also we did see happening there. And that is also really something we want to see, because they want compensation also really after being released. That is for the damages of being arrested and kept in that is in Kado up to now. But then the question is, as we are seeking that is for maybe compensation for damages here and there, but the question we're asking ourselves, where are the people? And you two also out there need to ask yourself that where are these people being kept? If at all they are there, which prisons? That is only something that we also need to see, maybe talk about. And meanwhile, the High Court, before that is Justice Esther Nambayo, has directed the state and complainants that is to file all their evidence that is by April 24th to enable the hearing of the case. And NUP states that most of the missing people were abducted before and during and after the 2021 general election. And 2021 NUP Secretary General Mr. Lewis Lubongoya also really petitioned the Human Rights Authority of Uganda Commission to investigate all alleged cases of abduction of 25 of their supporters who were said to be missing. And he added that 5 more of the list between that is January and February, that's of 2023, bring the list that is 30 of them, that is in the numbers of the missing persons. And really that is also really something that we need to talk about, because really if we do not talk about these tendencies, then definitely we could be lagging behind. But really what can be done? That is also really something you also really out there need to share your opinion on. And moving on from that, attack on speaker among sacks, that is in Bugweri cultural chiefs, that is also really something we are seeing on the papers this morning. And really the cultural leaders in Bugweri chiefdom are up in that is arms over statements allegedly belittling the Speaker of Parliament, that is Right Honorable Speaker Anita Mong, and her predecessor, that's Mr. Rebecca Kadaga. And Bugweri is one of the 11 chiefdoms that's of Busoga Kingdom, while others include that is Chigulu, Luka, Busiliki, Bukono, Bulamogi, Butembe, Buhinya, also Bugangubula, Mukoli, and Bunyoli. These are people, these are also really areas under Busoga sub-region. And the crux of the matter is derived that's from the statement made by the Deputy Spokesperson of National Unity Platform Party, that is Mr. Alex Waiswa Mufumbiro, during the burial of Ramadan Waiswa, a younger brother, that is the Bugweri constituency legislator, that is Abdul Katuntu, at Butende village, that is in Ibuluka sub-county last week. And Mr. Mufumbiro, who was one of the day's speakers, asked Miss Among, who was in attendance also really to tone down her perceived attacks. So that's Ms. Kataga, whom he said in many in sub-region referred to as Mama Busoga, or loosely translated as Mother Busoga, and that is really something we did see happening in there. And really, Mr. Mufumbiro, as Mr. Mufumbiro's speech has since rattled that section of Bugweri chiefdom leaders headed by the third deputy Katikiro, that is Mr. Muhammad Mugwisha, who led about that 30 of the ministers in apologizing, that is to Ms. Among on behalf of that Mufumbiro, and that is also really something we did see happening there. And the clash really is in a letter that addressed that to Mr. Among. The chiefs say that is the chiefdom was not party of the utterances made by Mufumbiro in full glare, that is of the members of parliament and government officials, among other mourners, that is during the burial of that is the legislator's younger brother there. And in the letter that the chiefs say Mr. Mufumbiro acted as an individual, and they therefore also apologized to Ms. Among for what happened and to hope to meet that is in her in person. And that is according to explanation. Bugweri Chiefdom Prime Minister Mr. Godfrey Nabongo confirmed that is seeing the document being denied in authenticity there. And I believe that is also really something that is rightly done there. And according to Nabongo, there is no such position or that is of third deputy prime minister of the Katukiro in Bugweri Chiefdom. That is hierarchy, or as alleged by that Mugwisha, who is described as an imposter. That is also really something we are seeing there. Mr. Nabongo, however, recognizes Mr. Mugwisha as being known in the chiefdom leadership, but with different roles. And the former Bugweri District LC5 candidate, that's Hamid Kimaka, urged the chiefdom leaders to stop dragging into politics. And that is something also we did see happening in there. And I believe that is only something we also need to talk about. And moving on from that, now let's head to the Indian community, where they have been urged, that is to embrace unity. Is also really another story that we are seeing on the paper this morning. As the Indian community that is being urged, that is both Indians living in Uganda and that is in India. And that is also to embrace, that is for unity, that is for progressive nation. And thousands of Indians living in Uganda, that is strong Lugogo in Kampala on Sunday to celebrate Holiday, a significant Hindu festival celebrated as the festival of colors, love, and also spring. And the event was organized by Rajasthan Association in conjunction, that is with the Indian Association of Uganda. And the chairman of Indian Association of Uganda, Mr. Raju Sarin, has said there is on holiday, everybody has to forgive and forget. That is the past and create, that is a friendship that is between togetherness, and this is something also I must say needs to be done. And Mr. Roshini Kela, the chairperson of the Rajasthan Association, said this is the festival of sharing love, and really I believe there's more that needs to be done. And last week, the vibrant spirit of Holi came alive. That's as Ugandan Indian community gathered for a night of festivities, also highlighted by the presence of notable Indian celebrities in Kampala, and hosted by East Indian Cultural Association and the Indian Association of Uganda. The event was a dazzling display of culture, music, dance, and partly sponsored by NCBA Bank of Uganda. And really this is something also I must say did go on there. And the festivities commenced with captivating performances by that is Miss India Uganda and Miss Little India Uganda, settling the stage that is for a night to remember. However, this true spectacle began with breathtaking, that is fireworks also already in there. And I believe that is something also we need to also talk about, because at all, if we not also talk about this aspect of unity today, rather there's a lot of fights going on, and really this is between also the members of these groups who actually live that is in the foreign countries. As the music filled the airwaves, revelers danced with abandon, weaving into that is patterns of the Indian movies, and also how they also did practice their styles of the Indian dances. Men and women alike sway, that's the beat caught up in the infectious rhythm of the night, and that is something also we did see happening in there, and that is what brings us, that is also really to the close of that discussion, and really that is also really to put the discussions to the Indians aside. And I want to make this call to everybody now that we need to ensure that also really there's unity not only between the Indian community but the rest of the groups that are really as foreigners living in this country. Today we have a number of people also really living as foreigners. We need to see also the same kind of unity being exhibited. We have the Somalis, we have Rwandan nationals, we have Congolese who are all living in this country, and not forgetting the South Sudanese. We also need to ensure that we work together, we join hands in terms of also really wanting to see the unity that we are talking about, because if at all we see unity may be exhibited amongst ourselves, and then definitely we may also not see a society that is maybe to realize development, because if at all we are united, I must say we would also really see the country developing at a terrible speed, because if at all I unite maybe with a brother who has something, I can't be able to borrow money from them, which I can be able to put also really in investing somewhere else. And that is what exactly we want to see, and that is what brings us to the closer of the discussions for the first hour as we return in the second hour. But for now, really, I want to welcome you who is maybe joining us right now to the show as we continue to do this with you up to the hour of 9 a.m. Stay tuned in the second hour. We hope to be joined by MATUA ALFRED OTOKIRA, the Community Liason Officer for Central Division. He will be giving us an update that is from police in terms of what is happening maybe in the Central Division area and Western at large, because they realize that a number of issues are happening. We are talking about accidents, really, where we did see also really lives also being claimed over the days. We also did have murders of people really being conducted within the Central Division. We also saw police operations going on. That is also really where we did witness a number of people being arrested here and there, and he will be able to sort of maybe delve in much into that. And we expect him in a few minutes as we return back from the short commercial break. Stay tuned.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
AFCON, all 52 games live only on StarTimes. StarTimes brings you Africa's biggest football tournament, AFCON 2023 live in English and Luganda commentary. Starting January 13th, don't miss Mo Salah, Sadio Mane or Nana. Lead the hunt for gold as they take center stage. Renew your StarTimes subscription today and enjoy all 52 matches in HD live on Sports Premium and Sanyuka Prime. StarTimes, the official broadcaster of AFCON 2023. This message is powered by Techno, the official sponsor of AFCON 2023.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region. West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
AFCON, all 52 games live only on Star Times. Star Times brings you Africa's biggest football tournament, AFCON 2023 live in English and Luganda commentary. Starting January 13, don't miss Mo Salah, Sadio Mane or Nana. Lead the hunt for gold as they take center stage. Renew your Star Times subscription today and enjoy all 52 matches in HD live on Sports Premium and Sanyuka Prime. Star Times, the official broadcaster of AFCON 2023. This message is powered by Techno, the official sponsor of AFCON 2023.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back from that short commercial break. We are back with the Kokoliriko live show, and as I did promise you earlier in the first hour, this is our second hour, and now we are joined by, that is MATUA ALFRED OTOKIRA. He is the Community Liason Officer for Central Division, ARUA City, and he is going to be telling us maybe an update of what is happening with Uganda Police, maybe also really in terms of also really the ongoing, that is intelligence-led operations being carried out by Uganda Police. And today we realize that a lot of issues, and now I must say it is yielding success. That is in terms of also really bringing down the criminality within the Central Division. And as of yesterday, we were able to also really maybe hear from the members of the public that at least there was no phone being grabbed. And this is also really maybe the intelligence, that is also really maybe as a success of the intelligence-led operations that is currently ongoing, where we are seeing maybe also police are doing its investigations and also really attacking these camps where these boys are really also really staging their operations maybe to take place. And I believe a number of people have been arrested, and as some are said to be arrested innocently. He will be able to sort of clarify on the show. But really, before we get to have that discussion, you're most welcome on the show. And really, I don't know how long it has been. You know, it has been quite a long period of time that you were last here. But nonetheless, you're most welcome to the show. It's a great pleasure having you this morning.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. My name is Inspector of Police MATUA ALFRED OTOKIRA, the Divisional Community Liason Officer, ARUA Central Division. I'm here to discuss about the ongoing operations and the general security update of ARUA Central Division, let me say ARUA City in general. It will also touch maybe briefly part of the region where we're operating. From the onset, when we expected to go into the festive season of Easter, and then the fasting period for the Muslim community, where we are preparing to go to the Eid celebrations, the police has stepped up its operations for crime prevention within the city. You may remember time again, we have been talking about criminality in the city. When Arua became a city, a lot of challenges came up, like the crime rate shot up a bit. Those are the challenges associated with the development of a place. Now, police had to adapt to the changing situation in terms of crime. The police in Arua City gathers intelligence on the operations of the criminal groups that have been terrorizing the community. Intelligence gave us that there are youths who organize themselves into small groups. These small groups are intended to smoke or to be using narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances. While they're doing that, they plan criminal activities such as stealing, robbing people, attacking people violently, breaking into houses. We used to have incidences where these criminals used to operate from bus terminals. On intelligence, we deployed in bus terminals, undercover security, and these officers managed to break the racket of these thieves operating at bus terminals. And then in the communities where there used to be a lot of breaking into houses, stealing property from homes, the community has been sensitized to be vigilant. The community now employ the principle of neighborhood watch. It means everybody is now aware of what is happening within the neighborhood. As a result of that, these criminals changed tactics. They shifted to operating on the streets. what do they do on the streets? They attack people violently. Those who are moving alone, or they move in small groups, they attack them, snatch phones from them, rob them of their valuable items in bags and what have you. Another aspect of this criminality is they move on numberless motorcycles. The numberless motorcycles present themselves as border riders carrying a passenger when those people are doing a mission of stealing. Then they move with dangerous items like knives, breaking implements, some metals designed for attacking the community, injuring them in case they want to steal items from them. So upon getting that information, police used first of all an approach of deploying motorcycles in the community to counter the vice of robbing on motorcycles, because when they would rob, they use motorcycles for making a quick escape. So,
talking about these, maybe these raids, we have been using the Senke, numberless Senke motorcycles as the commonly identified motorcycle. It has also become a point, a norm, where when people see Senke motorcycles, they very much think that these are thieves. How about those people who use these Senke motorcycles and they're not thieves? What message do you have maybe for these people that are now also living in fear? Because these Senke motorcycles are now said to be for thieves. And we also have genuine people who are not maybe also the thieves and they are riding on Senke. What message maybe do you have for such people who are now living in fear?
Yeah, the number of Senke motorcycles, people, these thugs prefer Senke because Senke is a strong motorcycle. The engine is a bit strong and it can move a bit faster if ridden by an experienced rider. Now, Senke is one of the motorcycles people can get cheaply from the neighboring Democratic of Congo. That's why there are many here. You are saying there are Senke motorcycles that are genuinely owned by people here, true. Even among the genuinely owned motorcycles, intelligence has it that there are people who own these motorcycles but they rent them out for thieves to operate on at a fee. There are those who bought these numberless motorcycles or stole them from elsewhere and they have put them into the business of stealing. We are on operation to deal with numberless motorcycles because they have been indicated in these robberies. A number of these motorcycles, they move on the streets without numbers. Even if there is that one which was registered by the URA, when the thieves will want to put it into use for the missions, robberies, they take away the number plates so that it becomes a numberless motorcycle, difficult to identify. So what we do is any numberless Senke motorcycle, we capture it in our operations. And then those who may be genuine, who are identified to be genuine owners, maybe somebody was transporting it from where he has got it to his place, will come to police. What the police does these days is will give you an opportunity to register it if you had not registered it. When you are identified to be a genuine owner of a motorcycle that was not being involved in crime, you'll be given an opportunity only to register it with revenue. Upon registration of it, you will get it back. But there are those that are indicated in crimes because they have been ridden by known people. These operations we are doing, we are not doing them in isolation. We are working together with the community. The community give us the information. Some of the community members even work with us to capture these motorcycles, to capture these suspects. And then They give us statements that it is known that a particular motorcycle had been indicated in crime. That one, we go slow with it until the cases are disposed of from court.
You know, talking about these arrests that is currently ongoing, if you really interact with the community members, sometimes you hear them say that some people were arrested in these operations were innocently arrested. And I don't know maybe how true that statement could be. You will be able to sort of guide us, because sometimes you hear them saying, as so-and-so was walking, he was just arrested on the way and innocently taken to police there. I don't know, maybe what criteria you use to identify these criminals, and then maybe how you identify these suspects also really as criminals. Because recently we did see at least 32 being arrested. We also did also see a lot of other sub-objects being arrested as well. We did see dangerous weapons that are being used by these criminals for also really carrying out the operations within the central business district. And I don't know, maybe how you will be able to guide on that area of people being innocently arrested as they are walking on these roads. And then maybe, because these operations are carried during broad day, at least we have seen people moving during daytime, where I've seen community members also who are tired of these thieves. I was able to see this on Saturday as I was home, where we did see a huge number of community members joining hands and really working with the police to see that they attack the camps of where these thieves are staying. I don't know maybe what criteria you use to identify as these suspects, because if you interact with them, they will always tell you that maybe so-and-so was also innocently arrested. And then maybe do we take them to court straight away? And then there's a rumor that is ongoing, which is among the members of the public. I will also be able to let you know that there is a prison that is being opened up, and they need farmers to go and maybe cultivate that land. You will also really be guiding me on that, because this is what the boys are saying, that they are being arrested and they also be planned to be taken to the farm. Maybe there's a farm that government bought. You will be able to guide me on that. I don't know, and I don't think if it is true, that is also really what they are really saying on the grassroots levels. You will be able to guide me on the two, maybe as we also continue to have the discussions.
Yes. I said with these operations we are doing intelligence-led. Intelligence-led in the sense that our intelligence people go into the ground, they study a lot of behaviors of these people we are targeting. We were talking about criminal gangs or youth groups that are involved in crime. These people, their nature of operation is that they assemble in one place, first of all intoxicate themselves with drugs, and then later they disperse into various places to carry out operations. We study where do they normally come from, where do they assemble, and what do they do in those places, what do they carry when they're going for these missions, who are they, how many are they. Those information we source it. After sourcing it, in order to be a bit proactive before they go into their actions, we at times go and attack the groups wherever they have assembled. When they have finished to assemble, the community gives us the information that they are now assembled in such a place, in their hideouts, and then we tactically storm those places. True, in an operation, of course, when we hit these places, you find some of them get running, and they are pursued by our forces, captured along the way, and what have you. In such kind of operation, you cannot rule out that some innocent person may not be arrested. You may find somebody who was just running because he got scared, and he got scared because people are running, and he was also captured on suspicion that he could be part of the group.
Okay.
As I said earlier, these people are properly identified from their groupings by the community, who always give us, we take time to study their behavior. Now, upon arresting these people, at police, we do some screening together with the local leaders, together with some members of the community who know these people very, very well. Those that are genuinely identified to be innocently captured because they were in the wrong place at the wrong time will be released on bond or will be set free to study their behavior again if they will one time be caught up in those kind of places again. But those that had been identified to be really members of the group who are always assembling in such a particular place and going out for missions, Those are the ones who will be identified. Statements, files are generated against them, and they are produced in court. About a prison being opened for these thugs, I'm not aware that a prison is going to be opened particularly for taking these people to go and do work, but they already established prisons within the region. You can see we are getting big numbers of these people. At times, to avoid congestion in the prison, at the discretion of the prison authority, they can advise that when these people are in court, some of them can be shifted to another prison, say to Koboko or to Nebi, for purposes that they should not overcrowd in the prison cells. Of course, when you are taken to a prison farm, you are going to work in a prison farm. When you are not taken to a prison where there is a farm where people will do farming, do cultivation, and then you will be doing other things like carpentry in the prison. Their being in prison is intended that they should reform and come out to be productive people. Many of these people you see involving in these criminal aspects of robberies and whatever, these are idle youths who are not actually doing anything tangible. They have nothing to do. Many of them are people who are not educated. They didn't go to school, or they studied up to some level. Due to certain factors or their own indiscipline, they dropped out of school. So when these people are taken to prison, they are oriented to be productive. One of the ways of making them become productive is to take them to a farm to cultivate, to teach them ways to do good agriculture, so that when they come out, they can go back to the villages and do some agriculture. Those that are making furniture can get involved in making furniture, metal fabrication, and those other things. So the plan of opening a prison elsewhere for these people, I think it is not within my knowledge, but established prison structures are already there, where these people can be accommodated once they are taken to court.
Okay, there's this concern, if you really be able to be observant, the numbers of these boys keeps on going up each and every day. For instance, those who are snatching the phones, the numbers are really going up each and every day, and that is because the business is said to be very lucrative, and that is why people are buying these Senkes to actually carry out this business of snatching phones, which has actually become a job for some people. I don't know maybe where the gap could be coming. Could it be parental issue? Could it be maybe society weakness? And maybe what can be done to avoid this challenge? Because today you realize that women are complaining that their handbags are being snatched, their phones are being snatched on these motorcycles, and really it is actually also by these people who are on these motorbikes. Maybe how should the society react when such instances happen, and really what needs to be done so that we also really see these young boys, because these are young boys. If you really see maybe people who are traveling on this same case, you realize these are young boys between the age of 18 at most to 25, 26. They are the ones doing these things here. And today we have also seen them actually being killed sometimes. We have also seen scenarios where they have actually abandoned the motorcycles. Maybe what needs to be done to see to it that we avoid this tendency that is really going on in Central Division, because this is what is also really said to be happening, that was happening elsewhere in South Sudan. What we are seeing in ARUA today, I don't know maybe where that will also really put the security of the Central Division area at. I don't know what you think needs to be done to really bring down this vice of illegal, maybe robbery, the broad day robbery using the motorcycles.
One thing I may say is that when I said many of these boys are those who have dropped out of school, or some of them are people who have never gone to school, that one takes us to the challenge of, have they been brought up properly? Because a parent is to ensure that his or her child at the age of 12, some of these boys are from 12 years up to 20, 25. These are people we would expect they should be in schools. Why they are not going to school is the question. Is it the weakness of parents to give them education? Is the way to serve these people in school there. In many of the activities we have been, engagements we have been having with the parents out, there's been the concern that youth now, or children now have their rights. Some parents misinterpret children's rights as government having given them
excessive rights
to do anything they want. But when you look at the children's rights, it talks of only good things, like they should be educated, they should be properly clothed, they should be properly sheltered, they should have medication when they are sick, and many others. And then the rights also came with responsibilities prescribed for them. When you have a right to a healthy environment, and then you should be able to participate in ensuring that you make your environment where you live clean. So parents have been misunderstanding that government has given children rights, and these are rights which are misleading them, which is not the case. Parents, most parents who at times call us on talk shows, they express that, but we tell them they have failed in their roles to see to it that their children grow up as good citizens of this country. Two, originally a child born is to be born for the community. When you bear a child at home, that child should be looked after by the community. But what happens these days? Nobody allows his child to be rebuked for a wrong thing that child is doing in the community. For example, when you get a small stick and you give a child who is maybe using vulgar language to an adult, you give him one cane on the bottom to say, don't do it again, you move. That one, somebody will run that my child had been assaulted. Nobody wants his or her child to be disciplined by another person. That now made people have left children to their parents only. Now what happens when this parent of this child is not bothering? The child gets wasted and they go to some of these wrong groups which are forming in town.
Okay.
True, peer pressure from these children is also there. You can see all these children want to have phones, they want to have good things.
Okay.
One other factor now which is aggravating this is every child wants in the evening to have miraa, the mairungi to eat.
Before we get to have that discussion of drug abuse among these young people,
yes.
Sorry to cut you short, we are going to be doing that as we come back from the short commercial break. Today you realize that most of these young people in the Central Business District are into this aspect of drug abuse, and which is commonly seen, that is through the mairungi eating. And not only that, we also see them abusing opium, and really in the police operations we also did see a huge chunks of, that is marijuana, being impounded, and that shows that really this is a reality. And really, dear viewer, with that, let's first have this short commercial break, and when we return back, we are going to be discussing the issue of drug abuse among the young people, which is fueling the criminality among them. And how should this be brought down is also really where I need your opinion. You can drop your comments there and what you think needs to be done to really bring down this vice, such that we also really transform the society, because as West Nile Television, our #1 mandates remain to enlighten the region, and we cannot do that alone as West Nile Television, but rather with you, the members of the society. Drop your comments there, and when we return back, we shall be able to go through some of them. Thank you.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
AFCON. All 52 games live only on Star Times. Star Times brings you Africa's biggest football tournament, AFCON 2023 live in English and Luganda commentary. Starting January 13th, don't miss Mo Salah, Sadio Mane or Nana. Lead the hunt for gold as they take center stage. Renew your Star Times subscription today and enjoy all 52 matches in HD live on Sports Premium and Sanyuka Prime. Star Times, the official broadcaster of AFCON 2023. This message is powered by Techno, the official sponsor of AFCON 2023.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Alright, welcome back from that short commercial break. This is still the Kokoliriko live show on West Nile Television, and I'm still with Inspector of Police MATUA ALFRED OTOKIRA. He is the Community Liason Officer for Central Division. And before we did go for the break, we are discussing how drug abuse could be also really fueling the criminality that is more also among the young people today. And really that is also really where I want to pick up with the discussions, because today we have realized that these young people are abusing the drugs. You see them in the evening, that is doing the Mairungi, and these groups where we have seen also police storming to attack is actually where we see these people abusing the drugs, and these are the ghettos. How they call them is the ghettos, and this is where we see them also really abusing the drugs from. And this person abusing so many drugs, and this is where this could also really be resulting from. I don't know, maybe as police, how have you identified maybe drug abuse as a factor to contribute, maybe as a factor to that also the high criminality among these young people? You're most welcome back from the short commercial break.
Thank you. Drugs and substances that are being abused by these youths are called narcotic and psychotropic substances. These narcotics, what they do is they can make a person become very anxious. At times, why they abuse this is they feel that it makes them have a lot of courage to execute what they want to achieve. True, in this region, not only ARUA Central, the behavior of chewing marungi or smoking opium is so common. In some districts here, you find marungi is cultivated more than a major food crop which we need for our livelihood here. People have a feeling that they make money from it, and the supply is much in parts of Maracha district and what have you. This drug, once these boys have abused it, they have taken it into good amounts. It makes them very excited, very courageous.
I believe.
Now, one major factor fueling crime here is the drugs.
Okay.
And you see in our operations, as I said earlier, before these people go out to do their operations, they assemble somewhere to get the drugs, and then after smoking, they now move out. Where they assemble, we actually have where we have recovered a lot of drugs. It is a big challenge in this region or in this city, because many people seem not to have realized that this is a major factor that is making these people get engaged in some of these crimes they are doing boldly during daytime, broad daylight, or even at night. Smoking opium is prohibited by law at a lesser speed. I think security forces have been a bit not much into dealing with the marijuana, with the Mairungi, Mira. But all these things cause anxiety, and they make people get into this kind of scenario here. It is a big challenge. We always ask the communities to really report where these things are seen in large quantities. In their midst, they should report to police. And we have been, with their support, we have been able to capture marijuana either from houses or places where it has been hidden. And near some homesteads, some people, you find they cultivated the marijuana. Where the local authorities or the community have identified, they report to police, and the police will go and take it away from the community. That is one way we have been employing to see to it that the supply of these drugs should be short as we fight this criminality which is going around within the town here. But still, people sneak these things from wherever they find the market, and it is still a big challenge for ourselves here. This is where we now call on the community to be vigilant and to really appreciate that these things are not good for our well-being in terms of security. So we should work together to see to it that having drugs in our midst is not very healthy. It can have more harm than good when these young boys are using it.
Okay. Then there's this concern of the big fish by these boys, that there's a rumor that these boys are working for some people. And there's actually some people who buy these motorcycles. I don't know if you have come maybe in relation to that information. And because this is also really coming out from the members of the community who are saying that police has failed to arrest these people. And recently, last time we were here, we were talking about the fight that was ongoing between some of the criminal gang leaders. And really, I don't know maybe what you can say about this issue of these criminal gangs. I don't know if you have been able to also really identify these people in your intelligence-led operations. That would also really be quite good. And then what are you doing maybe to see to that you bring down these elephants who are really also fueling the criminality among the young people?
Yeah, the law is very clear. Any person who commits a crime must answer for that crime. It doesn't matter whether you're a big fish, you're a small fish. I don't know the context in which you are saying the big fish.
These are the criminal gang leaders.
These gangs, they have some people they have identified as leaders. These leaders, how they become leaders is that they have the capacity to mislead or call these people, recruit these people into their criminal acts. And then two, they have moved into places to do these criminal acts very successfully. For example, somebody goes to Sudan and is able to steal a motorcycle from there and bring it here very cheaply. So you may find this person has about 2 or 3 motorcycles. He starts now renting out these motorcycles at a fee to others to ride them for snatching mobile phones. And there was also that intelligence information that somewhere in Congo, when you go with a certain number of smartphones, you can easily be given a motorcycle in return. So the most lucrative thing these youth think they can do in the city here is riding boda. Now, each of them wants to have a motorcycle to ride. With that kind of attitude, you find they are working very hard to grab these phones from people so that they sell, one, to get the drugs they always need for their laser or what, and then two, money for doing what they want to do. The big fish that are said to be involved in this kind of thing, once identified, they will face the same wrath of the law like any other person. The law does not differentiate whether somebody is a big fish or somebody is a small fish. what the law believes is this person has committed a crime, and that person should answer for the crime, regardless of any status of a person. So we are doing that together with the community to really lead us to who these people said to be the big fish, the leaders of the criminal gangs. We have already identified some of them through intelligence information people sent to us.
Okay.
What we are going to do is the right timing where we shall chance to land on them.
Okay.
Definitely we shall pick them to answer for their heinous acts. The challenge we have been having is that since they have recruited a number of people, they remain as big fish in the places where they hide, and then they send small teams on the ground to do some of these crimes. That has been the challenge.
Time cannot allow us to continue with the discussion. We are just left with about a minute. I don't know what message you have for the people of Central Division. This is where we're also already seeing a number of these criminality activities being registered from. If you look at the areas of Central Division, areas like San Siro, areas like ARUA Primary, areas of Air Japan, and not forgetting other areas maybe in Karabusel. This is where these criminality activities are said to be registered mostly. I don't know what message you have for the people of those areas in just 1 minute, as time may not allow us to continue with the discussions.
Yeah, thank you. Central Division is the core business center for this city. When you go to some places like Ivory East, Ivory West, you may not see the rate of this criminality like it is done here, because everybody wants to be in the city center to do business, to carry different things. Now, I call upon the people to always be vigilant. When you know that you are coming to the city, know that you are coming to a place where you are going to interface with these people in big numbers.
Okay.
These youths who sit idle in some border stages, be careful with them. And then when you are moving within the town, you should know that one of the items they like most is the smartphones. Carry your smartphones properly. The more you expose them, the more vulnerable you are making yourself to these criminals, because when they see you having a mobile phone in your hands, they're most likely to attack you. They also grab bags. It is advisable that people should avoid moving with the large sums of money in their small bags while on foot or on borders. You have your money kept in the bank or wherever you can have it safe.
Okay.
Don't move with it on the streets and what have you.
Okay.
Now that we're expecting to go into the festive season, that is the Eid celebrations, we know a number of people will be out from their homes on the streets and what have you. That is where these gangs are going to operate. They like being in places where people are many in numbers. So wherever the Muslims are going to have their prayers, move from one place to another to celebrate this day, we call upon them to be vigilant, and they should take care of their property. Vigilance
remains key as we head into the Eid celebrations, because if you're not vigilant enough, somebody may rob what you have, and that is the information Alfred Matua, the Inspector of Police that is in charge of Central Division, is also really giving out as an advice to the members of public, and that is what brings us to the end of today's discussions. And in a special way, I want to thank you for coming through to also talk to the people of Central Division, not only Central Division, but the county at large, and that is why we also really want to see sanity being brought, that is to the city, and also really to the rest of the parts where we are seeing criminality very, very much paramount there. And that is what brings us to the end of the discussions for Tuesday, and really we thank you so much for watching us right from the time we began until this hour of the morning. We say have yourselves a good day and happy Eid celebrations.